The following may contain language that is not suitable for all audiences. It's time. I'm surprised you never had hockey horns where you're from.
Not what? Nah, we don't.
Well, you don't have hockey.
We just have rugby and cricket.
I'm very sad for you.
Have you been watching the World Cup?
No.
The Women's World Cup?
I'd rather eat my own
It's
elbows.
pretty exciting.
As, what's-his-face said once.
It's down to the, it'll probably be over by the time this goes up, but it's actually been quite enjoyable to watch. Believe it or not.
I believe you. I just personally can't stand professional sports whatsoever.
I know, you weirdo.
Actually, I can't stand watching sports.
See, I swear I'm not going to watch these tournaments, and then I watch every tournament, so...
Well, that's... Why... What's the big deal about watching them?
I don't know if because I claim to not... I don't really follow the sports in between times. I just watch watch whatever it is every 4 years.
Well, but why is that such a...
I don't know, it's weird to me.
Because I used to watch the Olympics very regularly. Both of them, summer and winter. Even when they staggered them to make more money.
Is that what they did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, they were in the same year before?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Winter and summer was the same year?
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
And then they said, we should make more money by staggering them so that we have an Olympics every 2 years. Oh. When did they do that? Like 94?
I fucking don't remember them being in the same year.
96? I forget when it was they did it, but they did it. And I said,
If you don't remember, it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
That's what I always tell you, right?
Yeah.
Because that's your favorite way of trying to get the heat off of you.
Oh, I don't remember that?
Yeah.
And you're like, does that mean it didn't happen?
Well, that's my question.
Well, no, it doesn't.
I mean, when you keep on saying, I don't remember, and I'm sitting there going...
But it's kind of what's going on. Like, I'm like, just not talking about me for a second. But it's kind of what's going on in the world. Like, they want us to just kind of forget things. Right? Forget what happened. Forget shit that went on.
Well, they definitely want you to not care about what happened in the past.
But I feel like people do forget stuff really quick now.
Even if it's happened to them?
Wow, yeah, I don't know. One would think it would be harder to forget if it happened to you.
But apparently it's not.
Well, that makes us the fools.
I've never laid the claim that we're not. Or that I'm not.
Well, I don't consider myself to be a fool.
Well, see, that's the thing. None of us do. Pretty much all of us think that we are each special, which is true, but that they think that individuality, we think that individuality and that specialness renders us as something important, which is untrue. Totally false.
When you say special, I want to say special.
Yeah, well, you know. Those people...
That's like, no, you can't say that shit anymore. Like, you can't joke about that stuff.
You can, but,
Anyone who's my age or older probably remembers that it was acceptable to do that kind of shit.
I think all jokes are acceptable, even ones at my expense. I may not like them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I definitely won't like them.
Mm-hmm.
But they are acceptable, and so should it be to everyone else.
Yeah.
The big problem I see with the world right now is this syndrome of I am special and because of my specialness, I am so important that I transcend everybody else. That's why even when I said before, right, though, about the whole hypocrisy thing, that's a bullshit argument.
Because everybody's a hypocrite? No.
We all are, yes. Everybody's a hypocrite, and pretty much to a person, for one of these two reasons that I'm about to set forth, the response is, it don't matter. So what? And these two reasons are either I'm not a hypocrite, or so what if I am? I'm doing it for whatever purpose.
So if you're doing something for a certain purpose...
No, only me, right? You can't do something for that purpose and get away with it. Only I can. And vice versa from your point of view.
But when you do it, it's not...
When I do it, it's no big deal.
Subjectively, you're going to sit there and say, you're not a hypocrite.
Yes.
And there's nothing I can say about it.
Correct. Because I'm special. And I transcend.
You transcend what?
You.
Any kind of criticism or...
No, you. Everybody
mean,
else.
Well, of course you do. You're you.
Right.
So individually, of course you're going to transcend everybody else.
Yes.
So there's no point calling anybody a hypocrite then?
Well, there's no point in having someone acknowledge their hypocrisy and actually sit there and say, oh yeah, you're right, I really need to change that.
But people do that all the time.
Out of a very stupid expectation.
That people are going to get off their back.
What do you mean? Oh, we're talking.
The expectation being that if you acknowledge, then people are going to leave you alone.
Some people may, but if you're stupid enough to confront someone with it, then yeah, maybe you're stupid enough to sit there and go, okay, well. Yes, I'm saying anyone who sits there and attacks or sits there and tries to get someone to admit something is a dumbass.
But that's the whole thing that people try to get most of the time. They're like, he or she needs to fucking...
Be contrite. To who? You? Why?
Because they're wrong.
And?
They're a hypocrite.
So?
Well, they fucking said that they were going to do this shit and they will be this way, and now they're being this way?
Because you're superior to them is where I was trying to get to. Why does someone else need to be contrite to you while you pass down your judgment? You're not superior to them.
How do you know?
How do I know what?
That I'm not superior.
Because nobody is.
So everybody should just be able to... I mean, what are you saying?
Huh?
Are you just saying, like, don't bother calling anybody out?
Well, part of me is like, yeah, don't bother calling anybody out. There's no...
Just, what? Just do your thing? Or just stay in your lane, mind your own business?
No, I'm just saying, you gotta... There needs to be some choices made in society. There's been a critical mass of people deciding that, you know what, I'm so special I can do whatever the hell I want. While I find that position odious, there are people throughout history that always have had that attitude, and usually only about 1 or 2% of a population can get away with that. For reasons that are unbeknownst to me, because it's not like they're so strong that they have all the power.
Right.
So I don't understand.
Maybe they're flying under the radar.
I don't understand power structures. I don't understand. I don't understand why half the shit is the way it is in the world. Right? I don't understand dictatorship. I don't understand authoritarian rule.
Sure you do.
No, I don't. Intellectually, I know what it is, but in my heart, I'm like, I don't get how that happens.
Okay.
I don't get cheating. I don't get lying. I don't get abuse, bullying.
Yeah.
I get none of those things. Like in my heart, I just don't understand.
Right.
I see it happen.
Right.
I've experienced
and you've probably cheated.
I've experienced it. I've experienced and perpetrated.
Right.
But I don't get why it exists.
And it's probably always existed, one would assume. One would assume there's probably cheating and lying from the beginning.
Well,
people.
cheating and lying is the most efficient way to get what you want.
Yeah, but it's at the expense of the group, though.
Not necessarily. It's definitely the expense of somebody else.
Right. Well, if it's like the original small group, like we talk about like how we lived in like small communities, like really small communities.
It's a family group.
Then if you're cheating, family group. If you're cheating another member of the family, then you're cheating the family.
If you're cheating another member of your family, if it happens to be your parent and you happen to be two, they're going to think it's funny.
Well, I'm not talking about that scenario.
That's the only time that anybody's going to think that your cheating's funny.
The rest of the time, you would probably just get ejected, I suppose.
You'd never get ejected.
Why not?
You're going to eject your family.
Well, I'm not talking about now, Dave. I'm talking about like my example of the fucking when it was just the family.
Right. So
if you're sitting there trying to cheat somebody, right? Wouldn't the family?
So there's,
you know what? There's
10 of you. You're gonna kick somebody out.
Well, then there'd only be 9.
Your brothers, your sisters,
I don't know,
or your kids, whatever. There's 10 of you. What can one of them do that's going to make you sit there and say, you know what? You can go out there and die.
It just seems like cheating your family is really bad.
It is, but what can you do?
I don't know.
It is bad, but how many families are going to really sit there going to turn their back on somebody like that?
It depends on how many times you do it, I suppose.
No, really.
You're going to sit there and say, oh, all right.
Chances are you're going to get a forever pass from your family.
I don't know about that.
Oh, yeah, you got to do something egregious to not, but chances are, like you're always stealing your siblings' desserts or
right,
raiding their piggy bank.
Right. So it would have to be something.
How many strangers are you going to let that do to you? 0.
Right. That's true.
How many times can your sister do that to you? Probably pretty much until you die.
Steal me your dessert? Yeah.
Steal your dessert. Steal the spare change out of your piggy bank.
Yeah.
Use your toothbrush.
Right. Yeah, I'm probably not going to take any action against my sister.
Borrow your clothes without asking. Oh, no.
How did we get to be talking about this?
Rip up your favorite shirt. Oh.
I don't know.
But I'm just saying. Yeah, things are all about groups, but we're going on the groups. But yeah, I think it's probably pretty stupid to sit there and try to get someone to be like, oh yes, you're right, I'm going to change. So depending on the person, most of the time, you really shouldn't believe anything tumbling out of somebody else's mouth.
But that's kind of why people do it, right? Because they're like, oh, I want this person to acknowledge, right,
my superiority,
whatever it is.
It's another act of dominion.
But your whole thing is like, irrespective of like, putting aside why it is the person's doing it, the person who's saying, oh, you need to acknowledge. If the person acknowledges, you're saying it's not going to do anything. They're not going to change shit. They're just going to keep on doing what they're doing. Dave we're in the bunker today, which is probably why you guys can hear every little sound of every little chair and the fan, and my apologies.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Dave doesn't care because he's not a sound engineer.
That makes 2 of us.
This is the worst possible like setup right now for sound.
We could go to a restaurant.
Well, that would be worse, but
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I can't fucking remember. I've given up.
Good.
No, it was if somebody acknowledges, if somebody sits here and says, yeah, it was me. And
that's it?
It was me. I did it. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Or an acknowledgement. So you're saying that even if they acknowledge, they're not going to change anything. They're not going to change their behavior.
Well, it depends on what I'm expecting.
Well, that's when someone like points something out and is like, you need to admit you're a hypocrite. They're expecting that person will sit there and say, mea culpa, I am a hypocrite, and then I don't
magically
know. Magically things are going to change? I don't know. I don't know what happens after the person acknowledges...
Nothing.
Nothing.
I don't see why pointing out someone else's hypocrisy is going to do anything. Even having admitted. This whole idea of, oh, you need to have some contrition before you can change. I'm like, fuck you.
So why do people get so hung up on the whole thing of like getting somebody to admit that they're wrong then?
Because they think they're superior.
So it's just about superiority?
In my opinion, yes.
Then everybody thinks they're superior.
Yes.
That's fucking astounding.
Well, everyone thinks they're superior and no one is.
Then what are we doing? Then like what is the human race?
A giant collection of grabastic amphibian shit.
Oh shit.
That's one of my favorite teachers once referred to us as. Actually, I couldn't say that he's my favorite teacher. I only had him for 3 months.
Oh, that's just...
Actually, I didn't like him very... Well, no, I like him.
What is it?
Grabastic piece of amphibian shit.
Dude, if you fucking... I want to be there when you call somebody that and see what they say. See what their fucking reaction is.
Is that even a word?
It's quite a mouthful for a start to deliver and call somebody that. But if you did, and it was just the right time, I think that would be beautiful.
Like soup sandwich.
Soup sandwich is a fucking... I love soup sandwich. I've used soup sandwich a couple of times and people are like, what? I'm like, like what happens to a sandwich when you put it in soup? Like it's a mess. And they're like, oh.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You've had to explain soup sandwich.
Correct. It's not an expression that us Kiwis have heard before.
What about you? Look like about 200 pounds of chewed bubblegum.
That's a good one too. That's like very visual.
Or my favorite is, smells like Vaseline and bad decisions up in here, boys.
Oh man, are you trying to kill me? There's no smoking going on tonight.
What's another one? I won't say that one. That was actually kind of mean.
What is it?
I can't wait till graduation to meet your mama so I can punch that bitch in the mouth.
Nah, yeah. These sayings are. I'd never heard any of them before.
Oh, I'm sure that a lot of people have. But anyway, so yeah. What else were we going to talk about?
Hang on, I got some notes here.
It's kind of hard to try and stay away from all the weird stuff. Oh, here's a one question, and I want your answer. We can just do one word answers for this one. Will a change in your surroundings change your circumstances?
Can I say probably?
Okay, you could say anything you want. It's a one word answer.
Probably.
Yeah. You know what my answer to that is?
No.
Yeah.
Have you got any more questions?
Oh, well, there were supposed to be topics, but yeah. Oh, those are books.
Oh, I know. I don't know if we can do this in a few minutes.
We can do anything.
So yeah.
Because it is true.
Okay, so you said, we were texting this week, and you said, I'm sick of people sitting on the sidelines doing nothing, trying to gauge which direction to go at best, or sitting on the sidelines and telling others what to do at worst.
Yeah, I am.
So you want to explain, or you don't know?
Well,
not do you want to explain, I was just curious.
All right, I'm sick of people sitting there trying to decide which train to jump on.
Right, just kind of sitting there like, oh, well, which is going to be best for me?
And don't get me wrong, these two types of people, which is most of us.
Right. Oh, those are two different kinds of people.
They're going to be okay.
It's the people trying to figure out which train to jump on, or the people not jumping on the train and judging others?
No. The people trying to figure out which train to jump on.
Right.
Which is probably like 80% of the people.
Like, what's gonna most benefit me?
Yes. You know, like when the soldiers come parading in to a town near you, you're gonna be out there waving the flag. Like, oh yeah.
Yes.
That's those people, and then there's the people that say, we need to start doing X, and I'm like, why aren't you doing any of that? We need to start eating bugs. Why are you sitting in front of a giant steak? We need to stop using electricity. Why are you living with every comfort there is known to man?
Right.
What's this we business? The whole.
We need to go like
the Burma thing.
Huh?
Remember I told you that when they had that giant whatever flood it was, and then the dictators kind of came out to these people that had lost everything in their cars and their fancy uniforms with medals down to their toes.
What did they give them? Bread?
Nothing. They said, we need to work hard to get things going again. We need to tighten our belts and sacrifice a little bit and put some...
Wow.
And I'm sitting there going...
Fuck you.
Exactly. You heartless whore. A la Clint Eastwood in one of my least favorite Clint Eastwood movies.
Was that the one where he's the ghost?
What?
Is that the one where he... Power Rider? Or no, the one where he's the ghost.
That is
comes
Pale...
back to the town.
Oh, that's... shit, what was that? Was that Hang 'em High? No, that was...
I can't remember the name of it. But it's not that. I'm thinking of the wrong movie. Which Clint Eastwood movie does he say that in Heartless Fool?
Absolute Power.
Absolute Power?
Yeah.
It's not a Western.
No.
Oh.
Which is why it's not one of my favorite Clint Eastwood movies.
Oh. Absolute Power.
Actually, my least favorite Clint Eastwood movie is a Western that some people believe is his best work.
Which one's that?
Unforgiven.
Oh, no, that's not his best.
I know plenty of people that think that was his best.
The best one is the one when he was in the Civil War. And then he gets that ragtag group of people that are with him.
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
No. The Outlaw Josie Wales.
Oh.
That's my favorite Clint Eastwood movie.
I have favorite lines. No, I think Pale Rider's the best. I like that one the best.
Pale Rider's good too. That fucker's still directing movies. He's 92.
Well,
He's looking pretty old now though. But he is 92, so.
Now what's that movie that he was...
You just said Absolute Power.
No, the one where he's a ghost.
It might be Hang 'em High.
Now, Hang 'em High...
Because he gets hanged in that.
Hang 'em High is where he was a marshal.
Shit. Dave's actually doing some research right now. That should tell you something. He doesn't research any of the political topics we talk about, but he's looking at fucking Clint Eastwood. So if we don't end up getting an answer to this question...
High Plains Drifter?
That's it. There we go. He answered it. High Plains Drifter. It's also a good movie.
I kind of like it.
I mean, in terms of vengeance, that movie is just purely about vengeance.
I'm a sucker for some revenge.
Yeah.
Probably because I read The Count of Monte Cristo when I was 11.
It's a good book.
It's an outstanding book.
I'm not so big on revenge as you.
It's better than any other book I've ever read. Three Musketeers, Pfft. Queen Margot. Pfft.
Why, you read all the dumbass?
Yes, most of the dumbass books. Hugo, Hunchback of Notre Dame. Pfft, pfft.
Really? Well, the only one I've read is The Count of Monte Cristo.
The Miserables. Pfft.
Oh no, I've read that too. Oh, come on.
You only like it because it was a musical.
Yes.
You like the musical, not the book. I have no idea what you're humming.
Dave is useless when it comes to musicals. Just FYI, everybody.
I've seen a musical.
I've seen like dozens of musicals.
I've seen.
Plus, I was in a couple.
I've seen a musical.
And I am not gay.
Never said that you were.
When I tell people I was in musicals and I like musicals, they're like, oh.
I think you think.
Yeah, I always thought you were.
No, I think you think they think.
Well, yeah, I'm a little. What's the word?
Hyper vigilant.
No.
Isn't that one of the first signs? Isn't that like a big tell?
You mean the musicals?
No, the thinking that everybody thinks that you are.
Oh, I don't know. Probably. I'm not though.
I mean, you're pretty.
I'm not though.
You're pretty homophobic, right?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I just don't like being hit on by men.
Well, at this point, I just like getting hit on by anybody.
What if it would it have to be pretty? Would it have to be a pretty boy?
That would make me feel much better. I mean, who wants to get hit on by an ugly guy?
Yeah, that's true.
Gay or not.
As long as it looks like Scott, he looks like Scott Foley.
Well, as long as they're good looking.
Scott Foley's pretty.
He used to be. I don't know what he looks like now, but yeah, I'm sure he is.
Old.
Well, he's our age.
Old.
We're not old. Convert dogs. I mean, yeah.
That's like me saying I'm not fat, I'm big. I'm not fat, I'm big boned.
But I am actually big boned though.
Really? Is that what you tell yourself when you get on the scale?
No, not at all. I'm wondering which scale's lying to me.
Man, I must be coming across as a bully on this podcast.
You are a bully.
I'm not.
You use your gargantuan heft and your height to try and cow me into submission.
When's it gonna call? You know what?
You're like a wildebeest, and I'm like a honey badger. So you're using your big heft and everything to try and cow me into submission.
But you're using your teeth and claws to keep me at bay.
But I'm a honey badger, and honey badgers don't give a fuck.
Honey badgers are the fucking coolest things, man.
I don't know
if you ever see the footage where it gets bitten by a fucking cobra
and wakes up 20 minutes later.
He's just like, ugh, gets up and he's like walking around like he has a hangover. He's like, ugh. He just looks like he had a real big night on the drink.
I'm wondering how badass you have to be to where you get bit by a cobra and you lie in the middle of the road and nobody comes to try and pick at your carcass or
yeah,
nothing.
In Africa, I mean, you're in Africa. And you're sitting there sleeping and nothing fucks with you when you're asleep.
Where everything wants to kill you.
Yeah.
Right? You can get bit by a mosquito in Africa and your limbs would fall off.
Yeah. Actually, that's one of the best piece of nature documentaries that I've seen in the last few years. About Stoffel. Who? Stoffel, the honey badger in South Africa.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, with where the... that poor farmer, the beekeeper, he's trying to stop Stoffel from getting to his bees and his honey. But he's a pretty patient guy. But he gets outsmarted by Stoffel at every turn.
Well, honey badgers, they're pretty smart, right?
But he's just so cool about it. He's like, oh, this time I'll stop Stoffel, but no.
Maybe it's a set then. He doesn't really live there. It's just
But yeah, for those of you who want to know what I'm talking about, just go onto YouTube and just search Stoffel the honey badger.
Wasn't that a nature show?
Yeah.
We saw that.
Yeah, oftentimes nature's hit and miss, but that was a good one.
Lately, yeah.
Well, I don't think we talked about any real topics.
Sure we did. We just never answered the big questions of life, the universe, and existence.
Did you have any other short yes or no questions for me? Because we're drawing. Time is drawing to. We're getting close to finish. But also running low on battery power.
Oh, will tech render evidence meaningless?
Yes.
I agree. Then where will your Harvard law degree do then?
There won't be any lawyers left.
Well, I think that would be a pretty good thing.
Really? So you don't think there should be lawyers?
I think that we need to kind of get back to the purpose of society, and it's not to sponge off your fellow man.
Mm-hmm.
And
Are you going to elaborate on that next time? What
Maybe.
the purpose of society is?
I do think that there should be a great reset, but I don't think that the reset that the people that want the reset is the reset that should happen.
Okay. I'm not even going to ask about what that reset is.
Well, we have come to the end. This is the end.
Beautiful friend, the end.
If you expected us to answer the questions of life,
The
religion-
universe and everything?
is that from Hitchhiker's Guide?
Yes.
Oh. You will be disappointed. But
Yeah, you disappoint me every week by not answering any questions, I mean.
well, I've disappointed hundreds of ladies all over the United States,
Wow.
and I've lost my train of thought.
All right, well, I think that's the sign for us to sign
Oh,
off.
it's going to be like the Zamfir thing. He's disappointed hundreds of people all over the world. Yeah, so it's time for us to end. Please like, subscribe, do that thing that you do, and
Share to tell your friends about us. And then they'll two friends, and they'll tell two friends, and so on, and so on,
70s commercial stuck in my head.
and so on.